I will now call the August 17th, 2015 Blue Springs City Council meeting to order. If you would stand with me, observe a moment of silence, and then I'm going to have Troop 306. If you want to start making your way up, come on up. I will cue you on when to start the Pledge of Allegiance. So who's the leader? Are you the leader? Okay, when I look at you and point towards you, you can start the pledge, okay? Right now we will observe a moment of silence.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you, Troop 306. I want to welcome those in attendance as well as those that might listen to the audio at a later time period. Next, we have the consent agenda, and Councilman Fowler has asked that we pull C and D. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we will pull C and D. We still have A and B. Is there a motion to approve those two?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And roll call, please.
Councilman Quibell.
Aye.
Councilman Levisay.
Aye.
Councilman Fowler.
Aye.
Councilman Carter.
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson.
Aye.
Councilman Culpepper.
Aye.
Mayor Ross.
Aye.
Carried unanimously.
Let's go to number C. Councilman Fowler.
Yes, Your Honor. The next two items are in support of tax credits for low-income housing.
Mm-hmm.
And what is an initial question I have is, what's the requirement for low-income housing? When they receive these credits, they are obliged to require that so much percent of the housing is dedicated to low-income families, I guess. And I'm just wondering what that percentage is. We've seen it different amounts.
Does staff know those answers, Deputy City Administrator?
Your Honor, the applicants are here for both of these projects, and they may be better served to respond to this. Councilman Fowler, in both of these cases, the gardens at Blue Springs is related to the White Oak TIF project, and I believe the proposal on that is actually an age-restricted proposal. If they're shaking their head, yes. And Friendship Manor, of course, we're all familiar with that project and the approximate 5 to 6 years that they've been attempting to get a plan to help them rehab and refurbish that. Mayor, it may be more appropriate to have the developers or the applicants of this request respond to that, if that's acceptable.
Do you have
Sure,
a specific question you want to ask?
Well, yeah, like I say, these come with conditions, and I'm curious to know what they are.
Okay. Either one or both want to go to the microphone, and there's no swearing in, and just kind of explain a little bit about it.
I'm Ryan Toll with the proposed developer on the seniors deal at White Oak. Our proposal would be a mixed income property, and just in general, how you get the minimum on a normal deal is 40% of the units at 60% AMI. In our case, and typically a lot of developers will go for 100% affordable. We're going for basically a 2/3 mix of affordable to market rate. So in our exact proposal right now, we're proposing 41 units are affordable, 19 are market rate. We found that mix to be really successful in North Kansas City. We have a property there that's, as soon as we build our fourth phase, will be at about 318 units, 2/3 affordable, a third market rate. The idea is to build that mix. Seems to be a nice sweet spot where you can build a really high quality product, housing product, physical product, and your residents, they're all in the same demographic, obviously, and they, just a real cohesive unit. People live there for 5 to 7 years or longer. Resident council takes over all the activities, and we love this site though because the proximity to the new grocery store and all that provides, basically pharmacy, full-service grocery delivery of food, and you can walk to it. So,
Yep. So I guess probably the ones you call affordable. Anybody meeting the age restriction can rent that, or do they have to have a certain income?
you have to be at or below 60% AMI. So in the Kansas City Metro, that's at about 31,000, give or take. That changes obviously as the economy goes up and down, but you have to be at, you have to meet income qualifications, and obviously with seniors it gets a little complicated just because people have to take into account their assets and retirement funds. But basically 30 to 31,000 is the cutoff on the affordable units, and those rents will be in the 600s up to the 800s. And we found seniors also tend to skew towards larger units, so this property has more 2 bedrooms than 1 bedroom. So.
All right. That helps me understand. Thank you. And the other one, Friendship Manor? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Friendship is existing right now, which is right behind City Hall, and I know that they have been trying for the last 6 years to get a tax credit unsuccessfully. So, Susan?
I might be able to help with that because I'm very involved with delivering food to them every week. They also receive donations from harvesters every week. The people that reside at Friendship are not at an income level where they have much disposable income. So I think it's really important that we do what we can to help improve their living conditions over there. And the grants would help do that, get new facade, improve some of the apartments, air conditioning and that sort of thing, so that they would be more comfortable.
So it would move them into a situation where if there was people that, or I guess that they would mandate that so many of the units be leased to low income.
I don't know their specific restrictions per apartment, but I do know the majority of those people they're all being subsidized because they do not have that income to survive otherwise.
Yes.
Take care of it.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Just add one more thing. Approval of these resolutions does not necessarily guarantee that these entities are actually going to receive this financing. This is a financing tool that they're seeking through the State of Missouri program. It is a competitive process. These resolutions simply indicate, if they are passed by the council, support for the projects and the applications going forward, but there is no guarantee that they actually get the financing.
Matter of fact, there are over 100 applications submitted every year throughout the state, and only about a third of them actually get the credits. So it's very fierce competition in getting those tax credits. Yes, you want to add to it?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Mike Rainin with Rainin Companies, and we've developed 4 projects now in North Kansas City, and which are, as Ryan said, 2/3 affordable and 1/3 market rate. Our products are all new, ground up, first quality. We have several hundred units right next door that are market rate units. Physically, you can't tell the difference between the quality of these units and the units next door. And it's the residents within the units also don't know if they're affordable residents or market rate residents. And there's a great, wonderful synergy. It always makes me, when I saw everyone move in there, these seniors move into the first phase, it reminded me about like going off to college when you're introducing yourself to all your neighbors next door, and they just have this great vitality. But we have had a success in gaining affordable tax credits because we've provided an outstanding product. So we're very proud of the quality of the product, and these will be all new units, and they don't differ from the market rate units we have next door. Just to expand a little bit.
Okay, thank you. And, Your Honor, I guess the location of Friendship is probably in that area where CDBG funds would normally go to. I was curious to know if the White Oak would be in that same. It's not. It's not. Okay.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve? Well, can we make a motion to approve C and D at the same time? Is that
I'd like to vote on them separate. Your
separate?
Honor.
Okay. Well, let's have a motion on C, adoption of resolution supporting Friendship Matters. Is there
I move for to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay, it's unanimous. Next, we have a resolution supporting gardens at Blue Springs. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Councilman Fowler.
Yes, Your Honor. On this one, I am a bit concerned about adding more requirements to the city for low-income housing. We have CDBG funds, which comes to us from the federal government to help low-income families. I was after supporting the Community Services League, the Hope House. Unfortunately, the direction of this council was to move that to profit-making businesses. I respect that decision. At the same time, I think that money should go towards low-income families, and if we're increasing the requirements that require us to have more low-income housing in the community, I still think that money should go in those directions. Right now, it's not. And I don't support adding more requirements outside of that district.
Okay, further discussion? Seeing none, let's roll call it. It's a little late now.
Councilman Levesey?
No.
Councilman Fowler?
No.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
No.
Councilman Culpepper?
No.
Councilman Quavell?
Aye.
Mayor Ross?
Aye. So it fails.
Motion fails.
Okay. Next, we have a presentation of the City Council Strategic Planning Retreat. Sheila Shockey, you're up.
I apologize for being late to your meeting today. I did have a problem with my car. My teenager brought me a car, and I did speed through almost every community to your community, but I did drive slowly down Woodchapel Road, so that would not get in trouble when I got here, sir. So
You're not late. You're just right on time.
well, I wanted to be here a little bit early, so. Okay, so if y'all recall, I appreciate you having me back. I wanted to talk through with you the strategic planning framework that we put together, which is a draft, because I wanted you to have a chance to kind of look at all of the information that you pulled together and make sure that it's what you said. And we did put together some meeting notes, summary meeting notes, and so if it was a few months ago, so if we need to refer back to those as well, I believe those were in your council packet as well. But what I'd like to do is just step through the framework and maybe have a little bit of time to have a dialogue if there are changes, and then I'll bring any changes back to the group again for your final review and approval. So if that sounds okay, Mayor, I'll kind of step through the document. So the document that starts out, this is Strategic Plan Framework 2015 draft. The vision statement that we did craft during the meeting together states the vision, Blue Springs is a thriving, prosperous community on the move with vibrant, connected places filled with innovative, involved people of all ages. And so I don't know if there's any changes or questions about that, but that was something we did draft together at the meeting, word for word. Okay. And then the next item, we did put together the majority of the components of this. I'm not sure that we exactly finalized all the wording, but it did state a mission statement for Blue Springs, and it said the City of Blue Springs will efficiently provide high-quality core services as well as partner with community and regional organizations to enhance the quality of life for citizens. And so a mission statement is typically, what is your role in creating that vision of your community? And so I'm going to flip through these until you stop me and say I'd like to discuss, if that sounds okay. Okay. And then the next thing that we did was put together a series of value statements, and those were designed to reflect a shared set of beliefs by the governing bodies that would guide the Blue Springs city government. And so I categorized them and then had a few statements underneath each one. And so the first one was to innovate and plan ahead. And underneath that was provide planning and infrastructure to properties identified as part of the economic development strategy to retain business and create jobs. And the second one, more on the innovative side, was to take risk on new ideas or ways of doing things, even if failure is possible. So the idea that innovation is important in your organization. The next one was about making strategic investments, and these spoke to the desire to allocate resources for community-wide benefit and not just for particular parts of the community, and that they would look to incent worthy development and redevelopment projects designed at creating jobs and enhancing quality of life, invest capital improvement dollars in both maintaining what you have and building new infrastructure, to have strategic resource enhancements to fund core services as revenues decline and operating expenses increase. And the idea was to maintain the high quality of life. And then invest in what we have that have the most impact on quality of life for the dollar spent, so that cost effectiveness. The next one that we discussed was the concept and core belief that people are valuable. And under that, consider the investment benefits and impacts of its decisions on all population groups within the community. And then valued, engaged, and respected city employees are critical to accomplishing the mission. We talked about that quite a bit in the meeting. The next one is strengthen partnerships. Strengthen partnerships with community organizations to achieve community goals. And you talked a lot about the importance of those community organizations and how strong they were in Blue Springs and important to achieving your mission. And then involve citizens in government. Citizens should understand how local government services are funded and see a benefit from investments made. Citizen input should be sought when setting priorities and decision-making should be open and transparent. So those were the value statements. Were there any questions or conversation about those that you wanted to have? No? Okay. So then we move on to goal statements, goals and strategies. So I listed a series of goal statements for each of the various kind of categories that we talked about: public safety, infrastructure, development, parks and recreation, revenue, and redevelopment. And then underneath each one of those, we listed a number of strategies, with some of them to have more specifics that kind of identified some specific action steps that you wanted staff and your committee structures to pursue over the next year. And so the first one was public safety goal: maintain a high level of public safety for citizens, as safe neighborhoods are a cornerstone of a quality community. And the strategies are to proactively engage citizens in public safety and ensure all residents consistently receive the best and highest quality fire and EMS services. And so those were the two items under the public safety goal. The next goal was an infrastructure goal, and it was to plan and invest in infrastructure to support neighborhoods and business activity. Infrastructure strategy would be, number one, would be to provide a safe and reliable multimodal transportation system that better connects people to places in Blue Springs and the region within the framework of the comprehensive plan. And each time we talked a lot over the period of the retreat about the importance of kind of implementing the comprehensive plan for the majority of the work that you're going to be pursuing over the next several years. And then there are three specific items under that strategy. And then the second strategy was to reinvest in existing infrastructure, and plan for expansion to support development. And we discussed the need for a long-range utilities plan, fully funding deferred maintenance for streets, utilities, and stormwater, identifying some sort of sustainable stormwater management funding source, and developing a sustainable plan to bring high-speed fiber across the city. So those were the infrastructure goals. And the next one was housing, facilitate the development of housing for all ages. And the strategy was to develop a comprehensive housing plan focusing new housing development and redevelopment on accommodating millennials and baby boomers. And you discussed about the need and kind of gap in your housing for both of those age groups. The next goal was neighborhood preservation. A lot of conversation about how important the neighborhoods are in your community and the importance of preserving and strengthening neighborhoods and neighborhood centers, which fits with your comprehensive plan as well. And strategies under that include increasing proactive code enforcement and reinvestment in distressed and blighted areas. And then Parks and Recreation goal, increase access to open space and recreational amenities to promote a healthy community. And we had 5 strategies there. The first one was to incorporate green space and pocket parks in new development and redevelopment projects. The second was to develop a parks and open space master plan and strategies for implementation of that plan. The third was a fully funded deferred maintenance of existing park facilities and lands. The fourth, utilize and promote use of the field house and dedicate necessary resources to ensure its long-term viability. And 5 was build facilities on city-owned but undeveloped parkland. Number 6 was a revenue stability goal, and there was a lot of discussion about revenue needs and the revenue available for a lot of these different goals and strategies. And so the goal there would be to create a revenue or sustainable revenue structure with adequate, stable, and diverse revenue sources. The first strategy would be to analyze the tax structure to better understand the impact on citizens, business retention, and attraction. The second strategy would be inform voters about the use tax that will be on the ballot before November 2016 when it expires. The third is fully recover costs of services in fees and charges. The fourth is evaluate the efficiency and effectiveness of tax collection services. And the fifth was to propose a sales tax initiative with the sunset and renewal to voters for deferred maintenance of streets, parks, or a combination of both. And then the seventh goal was to retain and grow existing business. We had quite a bit of a conversation about where that should be located and how to go about doing that. The goal was to attract new businesses that create jobs and that are of strategic benefit to the community. Strategy number 1, we defined shovel-ready in our conversation, if you recall that, to create a shovel-ready mixed-use business park on the north side of I-70 east of Adams Dairy Parkway. Was strategy number 1. Number 2 was to develop and ensure the city's development policies and procedures are market-based, streamlined, and user-friendly. The third development strategy was to create an economic development policy. That was also recommended during the Economic Development Summit. And the fourth was to evaluate voluntary annexations consistent with the intent to annex plan and comprehensive plan. And those are all listed up there. And then the final goal was a redevelopment goal. And the goal would be to increase business tax base in key transportation corridors in downtown with the idea that you would need to target your investment. And so the first strategy was to target redevelopment and incremental infill development in a more strategic manner and improve the function, investment value, and aesthetics along corridors. The priority corridor is 7 Highway, which is the north-south connector traversing the entire city. And then you talked a little bit more about the vision plan for 7 Highway, starting with the downtown node as the first priority, creating a partnership with MoDOT, and then establishing some redevelopment tools to reuse properties and redevelop the corridors. And then the second component of that would be to initiate comprehensive plan objectives for 40 Highway. And some of the other topics that were discussed during the session that we really didn't have time to get into too much detail about and that fell kind of as more of a lower priority, but were still items to further consider down the road would be just the diversity of the community and now how to get more folks involved in the community and decision-making process, how to collaborate better regionally on some of the activities that are underway through Mid-America Regional Council and Eastern Jackson County initiatives, how to further involve youth in the community, and how to really incorporate environmental stewardship into some of your decision-making. So that's a summary of what we heard from you at your meeting. And if you had any items that you wanted to pull out and discuss further, I'm happy to make any revisions that you want to this evening. And we do appreciate the opportunity to work with you on this. It was a lot of fun, and we enjoyed it, and thought that you came up with a very good work product in the end. So.
Okay, Council. Any questions, concerns, withdrawals, additions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Councilman? Yeah. Oh, Carter, you didn't?
No.
Well, I did have one question. Who ended up with all the pennies at the end?
I have those in a fund for your park development. How about that?
Thank you. We'll take everything we can get.
Well, just to say that it's good that we get together and do this. It kind of brings us together at all. It kind of discuss some stuff and plan out the future, and it's good for the residents. So I think it's worthwhile spending this time.
It was well past due. We did that when you and I first came on, and a lot of those goals and objectives have been met with that particular retreat, and we're way overdue in doing another one, and I'm glad we were able to come together and do that, which will kind of set the course for the next few years. And so we want to thank Ms. Shockey for her work, and it's really interesting because she also did the EDC retreat, and so and how those two come together and mesh for the good of this community. So, so we appreciate it. Yes, Mr. Johnson.
Your Honor, you'll notice the next item on the agenda is we're going to ask the City Council to actually consider passing a resolution that affirms and your goals and your priorities that came out of this meeting. It really sets the course for staff and gives us the ability for us to plan, direct, and implement your strategies. And as an example of where we attempted to do that in several areas here, but I'll be very specific, one of your goals under the public safety was provide citizens with information about criminal activity and public safety efforts. And you will recall, and Councilman Levis say you weren't here at the work session last week, but we are specifically proposing to fund a new online resource that gives our residents the ability to access information, public safety information about crime trends and activities going on in our community. And that is a direct connection to the goal that you established back in May. So just cite that as an example of where we're trying to put budget resources to the priorities that you have for this community. So we hope that you will support the resolution.
Any other comments? Okay. We would accept a motion to adopt the resolution adopting the strategic plan framework.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have the introduction and reading of Bill 4390, disclosure of conflict of interest for certain.
I'll introduce it, Your Honor.
Okay.
First reading of Bill Number 4390, an ordinance of the City of Blue Springs, Missouri to establish and continue the procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interests for certain municipal officials, first established by Ordinance Number 2101 pursuant to Section 105.48311 RSMO.
Move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Same sign.
Second reading of Bill Number 4390, an ordinance of the City of Blue Springs, Missouri to establish and continue the procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interests for certain municipal officials, first established by Ordinance Number 2101 pursuant to Section 105.48311 RSMO.
Move the bill be approved on its second reading and assign the appropriate ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Fowler?
Aye.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
Aye.
Councilman Culpepper?
Aye.
Councilman Quibell?
Aye.
Councilman Levesey?
Aye.
Mayor Ross?
Aye.
Carried unanimously, given ordinance number 4563.
Next, we have introduction and reading of Bill 4391.
I'll introduce it, Your Honor.
First reading of Bill Number 4391, an ordinance approving the final plat for Coronado Center.
Move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Second reading of Bill Number 4391, an ordinance approving the final plat for Coronado Center.
Move the bill be approved on its second reading and assign the appropriate ordinance number.
Second? Discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
Aye.
Councilman Culpepper? Aye. Councilman Quibell?
Aye.
Councilman Levesey?
Aye.
Councilman Fowler?
Aye.
Mayor Ross?
Aye.
Carried unanimously, given ordinance number 4564.
That brings us to mayoral announcements, and before we meet again is Labor Day, so we will be meeting on Wednesday, September 9th, instead of on a Monday, because that Monday is Labor Day. That brings us to Thoughts to Ponder, which is a Chinese proverb. A trip of 1,000 miles is begun with a single step, end quote. We have a visitor's appearance form from Brian Simmons. Do you want to come and address the council?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you. I'm here today with kind of a bizarre question. This is the first time I've ever addressed the council anywhere, and it really wouldn't be the case if it wasn't for the simple question, paper or plastic. House Bill 722 originally started out as a ban on plastic bags in the state of Missouri. And as it progressed through its time with the General Assembly, it became an issue of minimum wage and among other things. In its ultimate form, it was sent up as a local preemption law, which essentially strips our local governments from the ability to govern their municipalities. So really what I'm here today to do is to ask each of you to adopt a resolution that expresses your discontent for this bill and contact Representative Salone and Representative Lauer and let them know that's where you stand on it.
All right, any questions, Mr. Simmons? All right.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I just have a question. Are you doing this personally because this is an issue important to you, or are you here as on behalf of a group? Or
No,
what is your...
I'm a resident of Blue Springs. This is a concern I have. I have a lot of faith in my local government here. I don't come up here a whole lot because I don't have a whole lot of gripes or complaints. But now I'm seeing General Assembly start to overreach a little bit. This is the same thing that they complained numerous times about the federal government doing to them. So that's what I'm here for.
And I can say you are very observant because they continue to strip, and I'm talking from a person that spent 14 years in the House of Representatives.
Yes, sir.
And we respected local authority in making decisions. And I also am past president and a member of the Missouri Municipal League Board of Directors, and I see this constantly to where they're stripping the authority of the local government. So I appreciate you being observant enough to do that. And I think most of us have relationships with our local representatives at the state, and so I'll leave it up to the council where you want to do a resolution or just want to talk to them personally about what your concerns are. Because this particular bill started out as a bill in Columbia, Missouri, is where it had its birth. And then, like anything in Jefferson City, it becomes a Christmas tree. You just add on and on and on and on. And I wouldn't be surprised that it does not violate Hammersmith because of all the totally unrelated subject matters on it. So,
Understood.
Anyway. Anybody else? Any other comments? Councilman
I was just going to say I share your concern. I don't like to see the state tell us what to do either, and we've battled them several times in the 5.5 years I've been on the council, and I would continue to do that.
Thank you.
Does, Your Honor,
Yes.
does MML have a position on this? Have they lobbied one way or the other?
Anything that pertains to local government, they would be opposed to it. I have not seen this list comes up, and I think what the fear is, and I think what you're saying, this particular bill was vetoed by the governor.
Correct.
So what the concern is the legislature overriding the governor's veto in putting this bill into effect.
Okay.
And so that's why it's critical to talk to our area delegation to tell them to vote against any attempt to override the governor's veto. And this isn't a partisan issue. This is about local control. That answer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you for coming and making your feelings known. That's important. I wish more citizens would become engaged in this process.
Well, thank you all for your time.
All right. Don't have any other ones. So, and there is no executive session tonight. Yeah, don't start celebrating that. Next time you'll make up for it. Okay, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion carries. We adjourn.